Okay, y'all, buckle up because we are about to get into some serious family drama that none of us had on our 2025 bingo card. Remember way back when Eddie Murphy and Mel B got tangled up in that messy, nasty paternity mess after Eddie straight up denied being the father of Mel's baby girl Angel? Oh yes, that scandal was wild.
Visibly recoiled when you heard Eddie Murphy again say those words in that interview, which were very hurtful, whatever the circumstances.
Well, of course, it's not a nice thing to hear. We were both to blame. I wouldn't have said that publicly, and he apologizes to this day about that, because that baby was planned. We planned that baby together, and we were madly in love, and it just went wrong.
So get this, over a decade later, Eddie finally came around and accepted the child as his. But by then, it kind of felt like he was doing damage control more than anything else. Like, oops, my bad. Let me make up for a decade of ignoring you. But hold up, Angel just turned 18, and y'all, things have only gone downhill from there. Word on the street is, Eddie never really accepted Angel, especially after Angel began transitioning. Who? Yep, Eddie Murphy, Mr. Family Man himself, allegedly couldn't deal with having a trans son. I mean, seriously? What in the deadbeat dad is going on here? So let's go all the way back because the tea is scorching hot and you need all the receipts.
Like old school, we dated for a while, and by the way, I've never actually had a one-night stand. I haven't believed that or not. I have not.
There we go. And your dad, he asked your dad for your hand in marriage?
Yeah, it was a very loving, safe, just loving relationship.
Now, did any of y'all even know that Eddie and Mel B were together before that pregnancy drama exploded? Most of us only found out they were a thing when Mel popped up pregnant and Eddie went ghost. Yep, just poof, gone. And hostile too. Even after the paternity suit started, Eddie's people were out here doing damage control. They released this super cold, dismissive statement saying, Mr. Murphy and Miss Brown dated very briefly and never made any plans of any sort. He acknowledges paternity of the child Angel and has paid child support to Miss Brown as well as covered the expenses of her pregnancy. Okay, sir. Naturally, people started speculating that Mel B had trapped him for that sweet child support money. Like, really? Mel B was part of the freaking Spice Girls. You know, one of the most iconic girl groups ever? She was not out here trying to bag Eddie for the cash. Come on now. According to Mel, when they met back in 2006, it was straight up magic. Sparks. Fireworks, all that. In her memoir, Brutally Honest, she described their first meeting like, it was as if a 2,000-volt electric current had passed between us. I felt like I had known this man all my life, and I was staring at my destiny in his face. Whew, the romance. Things moved fast. They were inseparable, tattoos and all. Literally. They got each other's autographs tattooed on their thighs. In Hollywood. Like, they were really out here doing the most. And guess what? Eddie even asked Mel's father for her hand in marriage. He was dead serious. Or at least he sure acted like it at the time. He even convinced her to have another baby, y'all. Yeah, he was the one who brought it up first, not Mel. And listen, Eddie already had 7 kids by the time he got with Mel. 7? This man collects children like some folks collect Pokemon cards, okay? So baby number 8 wasn't even a shock. When Mel got pregnant, she told Eddie first. They were laughing, crying, hugging, like it was a real joyous, love-filled moment. But then, everything fell apart, quickly. According to Mel, once she was pregnant, Eddie turned into a whole different person. Suddenly, she wasn't allowed to go out like she used to. He was obsessed with security. She was stuck in this fancy, miserable, golden cage. Eddie had the keys, and she was just trapped. Mel really thought that once the baby was born, things would go back to normal. Oh, sweet Mel, she had no idea what was coming next. Because when a reporter asked Eddie if he was excited about the baby, you would expect some joy, right? But no, Eddie hit us with, I don't know whose child that is until it comes out and has a blood test. You shouldn't jump to conclusions, sir. Wait, what? This man really went on air and denied that baby like they hadn't just been in love and planning a future together. Fans were shook, and Mel, devastated. She packed up, left his house, and stood her ground. The baby was his.
Did you ever think possibly of not having the baby?
Absolutely not. This is a planned baby. This is something that we both sat down. Yeah, we both sat down and we discussed it. Listen, I have an 8-year-old. I'm not about to just have a baby by accident. I'm a very responsible parent. We both sat down and planned it, and yeah.
But you didn't plan to be married?
Yeah, we didn't make set-in-stone plans to be married, but that we definitely spoke about it. And that was, yeah, one of the things.
Were you in love with him?
Yeah. Why would you have a baby with somebody if you're not in love with them?
Fast forward 4 months, and get this, it was on Eddie Murphy's birthday. Mel gave birth to Angel Murphy Brown. "Happy birthday, Eddie." And then the paternity suit came. Yeah, she had to drag him to court. I mean, imagine being born into the world knowing your dad not only didn't want you, but publicly questioned if you were even his. Whew, therapy is calling. The DNA test finally proved it. Angel was Eddie's. He was ordered to pay child support and all the pregnancy-related expenses, but even then, he wanted nothing to do with that child. Like, nothing. He swore Mel had played him, manipulated him, and basically baby-trapped him. And y'all, it got so bad that Eddie's ex-wife, Nicole Murphy, had to step in to get both of them to sit down and talk like adults. But once that was done, Eddie was like, "Cool, now I can disappear again." And he did. He stayed as far away from Angel as possible, just to avoid dealing with Mel. It got so bad that Angel grew up thinking her stepdad, Stephen Belafonte, was her real father. Eddie didn't even enter the picture until Angel was a teen. By then, though, the damage? Already done. And to make matters even more tense, Angel was beginning to transition, living life as a transgender male. And apparently, Eddie did not take that well. The reports say Eddie had a hard time accepting that his daughter wanted to live as his son. It really created a rift. Like, how are you gonna be absent and judgmental? And y'all, remember back in 1997 when Eddie got caught with a trans sex worker named Shalimar in his car? Oh yeah, pulled over by LAPD and the world went crazy. Eddie tried to play it off like he was just giving her a ride. Sure, January. So now people are calling him out for the hypocrisy. Like, how are you caught up in a trans scandal years ago, and when your own child comes out as trans, you turn your back on them? And this isn't just some baseless rumor either. Angel has spoken up, publicly. He's taken to social media, hinting about being abandoned and disrespected, not just once, but repeatedly. He said that trying to form a bond with Eddie felt like chasing a ghost. Ugh, gut-wrenching. And to make it even sadder, Mel B has spoken about how hard it's been on Angel. She said in an interview that the rejection took a toll on him emotionally, that he kept asking why his dad didn't want to be around. Imagine being a kid and thinking you're just not enough for your dad to love. Heartbreaking. And guess what? Eddie still hasn't addressed it. Not directly, not publicly, just silence. Like, "Sir, this isn't a stand-up comedy special. This is your child's real life." People close to Eddie have tried to defend him. They say he's old school, private, and not great at emotional conversations. Okay, but newsflash, none of that excuses abandonment. Some fans even tried to spin it like maybe Eddie's trying to rebuild the relationship behind closed doors. But come on, Angel is 18 now. That rebuilding ship, it sailed a long time ago. And based on everything Angel has said online, it doesn't sound like any effort is being made at all. And this isn't even the first time Eddie's been called out for being a distant dad. Several of his other baby mamas have spilled tea in the past, saying he's not as involved as people think. He may look like Father of the Year in red carpet photos, but behind the scenes, the vibes are very different. But what makes the Angel situation hit so much harder is the transphobia angle. You've got a young person stepping into their truth, trying to live authentically, and instead of support, they get silence and distance. All from their own father. Like, you can't even fake a text message of support, and it's not just silence. Angel has hinted that Eddie actively ignored conversations about his transition. Like he just pretended it wasn't happening. Refused to use the right pronouns. Refused to acknowledge the new name. Just completely shut down. And that hurts more than words can say. Let's not forget, this is the same Eddie Murphy who built an entire career making people laugh, but in real life, he couldn't show up with compassion for his own child. The irony is honestly too much. Fans have been dragging him on every platform. All that fame, all that fortune, and still not an ounce of emotional maturity. The bar was literally on the floor and Eddie still tripped over it. Imagine having a dad with millions of dollars and not even getting a phone call on your birthday. Like, y'all, make it make sense. And you'd think with all the backlash, Eddie might say something. Even a basic, "We're working on our relationship." But nope, nothing. Just more red carpet appearances and Netflix specials, like he's not being roasted online for being a deadbeat. And listen, we're not saying people can't change. Growth is always possible, but you gotta do the work. You gotta show up, say sorry, make amends. And based on what we're seeing, that work hasn't even started. Meanwhile, Angel's out here trying to navigate adulthood, transitioning, and healing from a childhood full of rejection. Honestly, he deserves all the love, all the support, all the peace, whether Eddie chooses to show up or not. At the end of the day, being a parent isn't about writing a check. It's about being there, showing up, loving your kid through every stage, every phase, even the ones you don't understand. And Eddie Murphy, he's had plenty of chances, but from the outside looking in, it seems like he blew every single one. So now, Angel's standing tall, speaking out, and putting Eddie on blast. And honestly, we love that for him. Sometimes the only way to heal is to stop staying silent, and Angel's doing just that. So yeah, the internet's on fire with this story, and rightfully so, because when it comes to parenting, especially with a child as vulnerable as a trans teen, the bare minimum is love and acceptance. And apparently, Eddie couldn't even give that. So what do you think? Is Eddie Murphy just a product of an older generation? Or is this flat-out emotional neglect? Do you think he'll ever make things right? Or has Angel finally had enough? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tea because y'all, Hollywood never sleeps and the drama, it just keeps coming. See you in the next one.